All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening in to another video of the Ultimate Black Man Radio. I'm here with my co-host Gabe, as usual. How you doing, Gabe?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Um, we have an issue. We have a we have a topic today to talk about. It's called "Do single moms have an obligation to their children to get back with their baby daddy?" And I'm not going to ask that question yet. We can go through and see. We'll get to that question. We'll ask other questions first. But before we did that, I want to do one of these broad screen shares here and show you this video that I saw. It's about a single mom who is, I believe the title of the video is "A Single Mother's Struggle." Can you see it, Gabe?
Let me check it out. Let's see. Oh yeah, I can see it.
All right, all right. Here I am. I'm gonna go ahead and play it. I'm gonna play the audio on my phone because you won't be able to hear the audio. Let me know if you hear any issues, if you have any issues hearing anything. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Here we go.
Pumping gas, and I see a mother on the other side. And I see a child in the back. She's older, but I see the mom has worry or whatever whatever she's going through. It was on her face. It was clear as day to see it. And God had told me, go to that ATM.
Can you hear anything, Gabe?
Yeah, I can hear it. It's a little low, but people will be able to hear it. I can hear it.
All right. See if I can do something about that. All right, let's continue.
Go to the ATM and give it to her. And as I went to give her that money, I pulled up on her. I said, "Come here." And she was hesitant. Smart lady. She was hesitant. She was like, "Who's that in there with you?" And she said, "Did Chuck send you?" I said, "I don't know a Chuck." And she you could tell she had tears in her eyes. But the only thing I can tell her is, I've been there. I have been that single mom. That struggle is so real to where some people do not understand. Your kids will go hungry. You will go hungry. There's times you will not have gas. There's times your lights will be cut off. You will go job to job. But God is always faithful. And while she was waiting on Chuck, someone came with a blessing. I don't know what she needed. And as I drove off, I said, God had it on my heart to pray. And it's so sad that women are so competitive and petty towards one another when we should be fixing each other's crown, uplifting each other, embracing each other, and instead we keep knocking each other down. That's sad. And this time we need to build each other, because so many of us can be in that lady's position. Some of us choose to stay in the position we are because we choose not to have to go through that. But going through that builds you. I just pray that that lady, whatever she's going through, Lord, just touch her situation. Lord, I just ask that you touch her, Lord God. Give her understanding, give her peace, that you're in control of it. In the midst of the storm, Lord God, that you're there. You are there.
All right, that's enough of that.
Yes, God, I wanted to throw my phone out the damn window. The hell?
So I'm taking it that you're not feeling the sorrow there.
Absolutely not. I could care less of a damn. First off, I'm so sick of all these struggle stories of these single mothers, all these woe is me, I got these kids and no help. First off, sis, but you don't protect yourself. You're out here fucking these dudes and you refuse to protect yourself. Black women are allergic to three things: birth control, accountability, and responsibility. They're not responsible with their bodies. They're not accountable for the actions that they do. And they don't like taking birth control. They love to fuck and they love to smash and they love having sex, but they don't like being accountable for anything or covering their own ass. So why is me as a young black single male with no kids, why would I feel sorry for that? Because if I get out here and I fuck up and I start having kids out here and I'm put on child support and half my check is garnished by the state, ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for me, and nobody should. So I'm tired of these struggle hoes crying about woe is me and I ain't got no gas money. You sitting over here, you got kids by a nigga and he can't even put gas in your damn tank. But I'm supposed to feel sorry for that. That's your problem, not mine. You made the decision to lay up with him and let him nut in you. They ain't got nothing to do with me. That's between you and that nigga. And if that nigga don't see fit to take care of you and his seed, hey, that's your problem. I don't feel sorry for this shit. These hoes need to stop crying and complaining and bitching about what the nigga not doing for them. I don't want to hear that shit. Sitting up crying. And I get so tired of this fix her crown and uplift. We supposed to always fix the crowns and uplift clowns. That's clown and hoe behavior. I'm not trying to uplift no hoe. No dumbass. Come on now.
Wow, some strong words there, Gabe. So, no sympathy, right? If you put yourself in a situation, you that's the choice that you made. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Like I said, as a man, as an adult, nobody's gonna have sympathy for me for the decisions I made. Okay? Nobody's going to feel sorry for me. And when you're out here making these grown ass decisions, you shouldn't look for people to want to help you and coddle you and make you feel better. Having a baby is a massive responsibility. It's hard enough raising a child with two parents. How the hell you think it's gonna go when you got one?
Well, we got Angel here. How you doing, Angel? You missed that little video there. I'm sure it would have touched your heart as much as it did Gabe's.
Would have. It gave me butterflies in the damn pit of my stomach. Hello, Angel, sweetheart.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me on. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfectly fine. All right. So now the Angel's here.
I was able to see the video, and I think I made a few comments about it. It's just flawed logic. That's all.
Oh, what do you mean?
It's flawed. As it relates to building and growing traditional families is not going to work.
Oh, wait, Angel. Not that video. Not that video.
Oh, okay.
Wait, we're good. I'm gonna actually show that one right now.
Unfortunately, I have the unfortunate pleasure of hearing this bullshit again. So play it for Angel so she can get context. It's the video I discussed in the group, Angel, but play it again so people can have a better context of what's going on.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh God, here we go, y'all. Woo.
All right, I'm gonna try to. Let me know if you can hear it. If not,
didn't you show? Is that the one you text messaged me?
Yeah,
No.
but before you came on, we were watching a different video, so I didn't want you to comment on this one yet because I haven't showed it to the audience yet.
Oh, okay.
All right, ready? Let me know if you can hear anything.
This the wrong one y'all need. Play the other one.
The one I just played?
Yeah, this is the one we're gonna get into in a minute.
Oh, you want me to play the first one again?
Yeah, play the first one again to give Angel a little context.
All right, hold on. Oops, all right. Okay, let me ask y'all a question in the meantime. Let me set that up. All right. What is a baby daddy?
Angel?
I don't have a baby daddy, so I don't know.
A baby daddy ain't your husband. That's what a
That's
baby daddy is.
I don't have a baby daddy, thank God, and I wasn't
And
raised.
a baby daddy is just a man you had a baby with.
That's
Simple.
it.
And that nigga ain't got no obligation to you. He got an obligation to that child, but he doesn't have an obligation to you. If something happens to that man and he got insurance, you don't get a damn thing. That's what a lot of these women don't seem to understand. Baby daddy don't come with benefits. Being a wife to a man does. Being the baby mama to a man don't have no benefits. You don't reap nothing. You
All
don't even
right.
get access to his pension.
All right.
Yikes.
Let's try to calm Gabe down real quick. I'm gonna try to play this. Let me know if you can hear it. If not, I just do something else that will definitely get y'all to hear it. Okay. All right. Present to everyone, and let me know if you can hear it. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay. No problem. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Whatever y'all excuse for, I done gave her Starburst. I had one. But pumping gas, and I see a mother on the other side. And I see a child in the back. She's older. But I see the mom has worry or whatever whatever she's going through, it was on her face. It was clear as day to see it. And God had told me, go to that ATM. Go to that ATM and give it to her. And as I went to give her that money, I pulled up on her. I said, "Come here." And she was hesitant. Smart lady. She was hesitant. She was like, "Who's that in there with you?" And she said, "Did Chuck send you?" I said, "I don't know a Chuck." And she you could tell she had tears in her eyes. But the only thing I can tell her is, I've been there. I have been that single mom. That struggle is so real to where some people do not understand. Your kids will go hungry. You will go hungry. There's times you will not have gas. There's times your lights will be cut off. You will go job to job. But God is always faithful. And while she was waiting for Chuck, someone came with a blessing. I don't know what she needed. And as I drove off, I said, God had it on my heart to pray. And it's so sad that women are so competitive and pity towards one another when we should be fixing each other's crown, uplifting each other, embracing each other, and instead we keep knocking each other down. That's sad. And this time we need to build each other, because so many of us can be in that lady's position. Some of us choose to stay in the position we are because we choose not to have to go through that. But going through that builds you. I just pray that that lady, whatever she's going through, Lord, just touch her situation. Lord, I just ask that you touch her, Lord God. Give her understanding, give her peace, that you're in control of it. The midst of the storm, Lord God, that you're there.
Oh God.
All right.
My God.
All right, Angel. I know you were getting into the gospel there, but I had to cut it off.
Oh my gosh. You put God in that
I'm glad
stupidity.
you did. I'm glad you did.
Oh my God.
All right. So how you feel about it, Angel?
Just
Angel?
off. Just off. It's off. I mean, as usual. It's typical. 'Tis the season to be foolish. I mean, I don't know. We have to do better. The tears, and I do understand, like, and I'm not coming from a judgmental place, but it's a choice. It is a choice that you make.
I'm
And
judging.
has
Goddamn
I know gay, but you know,
it.
I mean, again, it's slightly flawed logic in that, you know, fixing someone else's crown. We hear that cliche and lifting each other up, and yeah, sometimes you gotta do it yourself though. Like it really starts with self and your own, and that's self determination is one of the principles of Kwanzaa today. Happy Kwanzaa to those that do celebrate, but it starts with self.
So,
Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable for the decisions you make. If you know good and well that if I have a baby right now, I'm going to be a single mom. I don't have a husband. That's a choice.
well, we have Frank on. How you doing, Frank?
Good morning. I'm good. How's everybody?
What's going on, Frank? Good to have you.
All right. Didn't think it was going to be a big panel, but all right, let's get it then. Frank, what do you think about that video, man?
Um, it's sad and it's comical at the same time. You know, I'm a person who, um, I live by choices. You know, we make good choices. We have bad choices, and she made a bad choice. And in life, you don't get to you don't get to cry for sympathy if you make a bad decision. You just you learn from it, and you try to do the best you can. In the midst of it, but you don't get any sympathy for it. She made a lot of decisions. You know, she made a decision to date this person. She made a decision to have sex with this person. She made a decision to not protect herself. She made a decision to carry this baby for 9 months. She made a decision to have the baby, and she made a decision to have the baby, by herself. So all of those decisions come with consequences. You have to eat those. You can't beg for sympathy out here. Number one, you're not going to get any, and number two, it's counterproductive. It's not going to bring you anything that you desire anyway. So I don't see the point.
You definitely ain't gonna get sympathy from me because I don't give a damn. I don't feel sorry for her. Like I said, the dude ain't seen he didn't see fit to put gas in your tank and his baby with you. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Simple as that. And I get so tired of these women with these videos, these sympathy struggle videos. That shit irks my soul. Wanting sympathy from people. In the game, it just don't go like that. When dudes make these babies, ain't no sympathy for them. When dudes get garnished, their checks get garnished. I don't feel sorry for dudes. They out here making all these babies, and their checks get garnished from child support. So why in the hell am I gonna feel sorry for you as a single mother? Like Frank just broke down eloquently. They make all these choices. You made a choice to sleep with the dude. You made choices not to protect yourself while you were sleeping with the dude. You made the choice to carry the baby for 9 months. You made the choice to have the baby by yourself. So why in the hell I, as an adult, will feel sorry for you as an adult that made that decision? Don't work like that. Life don't work like that. So I don't know what world these single mothers live in, but they need to. I don't know if they're on the fifth dimension, third dimension, whatever dimension they're on. They need to come back down to reality, the real world, and deal with the real world, how the real world works. The real world doesn't work like that.
And
You're not
that's
going
why
to get
I just
sympathy from folks.
it's flawed. A lot of the issues that we have, we bring them on ourselves because you're not choosing to marry before you carry.
Right.
So as a woman, that's where that's where the self accountability does come in. You know, the Bible says, if we're talking about the Bible, and I know she did bring the scripture up in the end, but a man that doesn't work doesn't eat, but you're not the man. So that's why it's out of order.
Right.
You got to get under that covering, and you don't have one if you're by yourself. And that is a choice that you're making. So my understanding of the Bible and the word, it just doesn't make sense for me to operate like that without a covering, because the struggle is gonna follow me automatically because it's just out of order. It's out of order thinking that I can do it on my own or I can try. And the devil also blesses people, and that's something we don't talk about often either. But the devil will also bless people. So the emotional piece of being connected with this man with a child, and
All
And
right then.
that's where we get into behaviors. You're so things you've never been provided for. You've never seen what that masculine provision looks like. So you just expect you'll accept anything. But when all in all actuality, if we were operating in order, provision it's very clear what provision looks like. And I'm single, but I still have masculine provision through my father, and that's the purpose of until he gives you away.
I I just find it comical how, you know, like I watched the video as well, and I heard the religious, a connotation to it, and the spin she tried to put on it. And I think it's comical. I think it's comical because Jesus was nowhere in it when you were smashing this dude. You know what I mean? He was nowhere in it when you gave this guy your number, when you were talking to him, when you let him come over for some Netflix and some Jill Scott. God wasn't in none of that. You know what I'm saying? So now all of a sudden you hungry, you tired, you broke, and now you want God to come in situation. And that's not how it worked. I mean, like Angel said, and you don't really have to come at it from a biblical standpoint, but because she brought it up, I can do that. If you look at the whole Genesis, God said it biblically, he set it up a certain way. The first thing he did, he created man, he gave man a job. You know what I'm saying? He gave man a home. So before he even created a woman, he gave this man a dwelling, a household, or a place to have dominion over, and he gave him a responsibility, to have dominion over. So he gave this man a place, he gave him a job. So that's first and foremost. So if you out here looking at this guy, he doesn't have a place, he doesn't have something that he could call his own, a apartment, a house, whatever, and then he has no responsibility, he has no job, then why are you wasting your time, giving this man children, only to complain about it, a year later? It makes no sense.
All right. All right. Just want to let Gabe know I muted you because it was giving some feedback. So if you need to chime in, you have to unmute yourself. All right. What I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to play this next video. I think we can all agree here that single motherhood is not like beneficial for our community. So I think this next video should kind of help us out with that's concerned. 1 minute here. Okay, here we go. Can you see the screen there?
I can see it.
All right. All right, I'm about to play the audio. Ready? 3 minutes.
What's the right age to decide to be a single mother by choice? I really don't feel there's a wrong age other than 16, 17 in your 20s. I feel like if you are financially sound and an adult over 18, I would say it's your choice and your opinion of what is right for you. Now, granted, I enjoyed my 20s, I enjoyed my 30s. Personally, I never would have made the choice in my 20s, but I'm not saying it's wrong if somebody else makes their choice in their 20s. I tend to say, do what you want and live your life the way you'd like to. The reason is you're the only one who's going to have to suffer the consequences of your actions. My mother has a quote, live your life the way you want to because you'll be growing to the grave by yourself. So that's why I tell when people are like against you and don't want to support you, I wouldn't use that as a deterrent not to do what you wanted to do, because you're the one who has to suffer the consequences of your life. Now, if someone was like 20 or 21 and wanting a baby, not to say waiting for a mate, if people do have babies that early with a mate or whatever, but I would say take some time to enjoy your 20s. But it's more of a suggestion. If you choose to go this route in your early 20s, then go this route in your early 20s. Nobody says you have to wait till you're knocking on 40 to have a baby. And nowadays, a lot of people come into situations with children. My baby cousin is marrying a girl. He's 22, and she already has a 5-year-old. So it's not absurd to think that you will not have a mate, or maybe you don't even want a mate. You know, someone has sent me an email and said she was never interested in getting married, and she was pretty young. And what did I think about her having a baby? I'd say do whatever the hell makes you happy. It is your life. You don't know how long or short it is going to be. And I feel you need to do what the hell makes you happy. And if holding that baby in your arms from you makes you happy, to do the damn thing. Have that baby. Do what you want to do. And that goes from, if someone's discouraging you, then get rid of them. Let them go. Do not engage them in conversation, because I definitely had some naysayers in this convo about me having a baby, and I'm glad I didn't listen. I'm glad I yelled. I'm glad I was upset. I'm glad I was pissed. And I'm glad I found my network that had my freaking back, because now I have my baby, and I am happy and thrilled and excited. And I mean, even with the challenges, I would never give her back. Shit, I want another one. But that's neither here nor there. So that is my opinion, and you do not have to take it for your own. Just my opinion. Do what you want. Bye, YouTube.
All right. Okay. So
Listen, I'll wait to go last because I have a lot to say about this. I had a damn aneurysm when y'all Nick sent me this morning. I fucking stroked out. Like, I'm gonna let y'all two go first. Oh my god.
Angel.
It's just where do we start? So when you sent the video, I did find it interesting. The one point that I do want to make clear that I do slightly agree with her on is being a single mother is a choice.
All right.
It's a choice. So to even piggyback off or connect this video with the prior video of the mom.
Angel. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mute her real quick.
But
Angel.
as far as the
Okay. Frank, can you take over real quick? I'm gonna let Angel know that
of someone choosing that, you can't. Yes.
Yeah, Angel, we're having a little issue with your audio. Let me go ahead and let Frank answer real quick, and then hopefully, by the time we get back to you, the bandwidth will be back.
Okay. First off, I don't agree with none of that shit that she said. I thought the whole video was trash. Everybody in the group who's listening to this, who listened to that video, let me ask you one thing. At what point in that video did this woman talk about the child and what's best for the child? She never said anything about that. The only thing she said was what I want to do. It's my body, it's my life. I'm the only one affected by it. Make this choice. And I guess in that right, she does get to make the choice, but it's not about her at that point. It's about the child. Okay. And when you have a child, you want to put that child in the best situation possible to succeed. We know what the numbers are. We know what the numbers say. I work in the criminal justice system, in the federal government. The majority of people in prison are black. The majority of people in prison are black males, and the majority of those black males grew up in a single parent household. It is not designed for a child to be raised with one parent. So I would say if I could sum that entire video up in one word, I was selfish. She never talked about the child. She never talked about the value of a child having two loving parents, to give the child both that masculine energy and feminine energy, to be able to see the masculine principle and the feminine principle work together in harmony. And she's going to put that child at a disadvantage moving forward. When they get older, they're not going to know how to deal with people of the opposite sex in a relationship because they've never seen it. So they're going to have to learn on the fly. They're going to make a lot of mistakes. They're going to be some people that they probably not going to be where they're going to mess it up, and it's unfortunate. So I would just say the whole thing was it was selfish, and she didn't take into consideration at all the welfare of the child.
All right. I agree. Angel, let's give it another shot. You're on mute right now. If you can unmute yourself, let's go ahead and try it again.
Is it better now?
Perfect.
Okay. I think I may have had my hand over the um I'm on my phone, so I'm at work, so my apologies. But again, thanks for having me on the program today. And it's a good early morning conversation. And it's something that we do need to go ahead and have the discussion about and talk about. Um, Unfortunately, she's not the only one that believes that there's no right or wrong age once you're legal to make this decision and choice to become unwed mom, a single mom. By way of supporting traditional family, this just doesn't make sense. It doesn't support that notion. And it actually supports the idea of a mother struggling and having to, find a way to make it and calling on God to help her through the situation that essentially was a choice. So,
So,
um,
can I ask you something, Angel?
sure.
When did the rules of religion, Christianity, which black people predominantly are, I assume, when did the rules of Christianity get bent so much so that a woman can have an out of wedlock child and then become a single mom and then call on God to help her get through it and feel righteous about that too? When did this happen?
Um, I would say, and Nicole Michelle, she did a nice video really kind of breaking this down yesterday, actually speaking on that. But I would say within the last, at one point when we had stronger traditional families, it wasn't a anything goes. And that's what she said. The young lady in the video said that, like, it's, it's you do what you want to do. Her mom told her only thing, only you're going to go to the grave. So the accountability piece is solely on her. And that's where the logic is actually flawed. And the emotional piece of you wanting to naturally nurture and care and have a child, that's normal. But to say that you're going to do it yourself is totally out of line. Now, this lady didn't mention religion in it. It was actually, she sounded more along the lines of feminism, to be honest. But just, enjoying your 20s and doing what you want to do and not necessarily having a traditional husband or traditional partner to achieve this goal or to get a baby. So I would say that it really got worse when the pastor's daughter started getting pregnant out of wedlock. That's my personal observation, that when it kind of got too close to home, there's things that the church doesn't speak on, and that is one of them, along with homosexuality. When a lot of this molestation and a lot of this allowing it, when it got too close to home, that's when we stopped talking about it.
Well,
I
let
would
me.
say as a people, there's things that when it gets too close to home, we want to sweep it under the rug, and because it's too close to home, we don't want to talk about it.
Can I ask you a question, Angel? And I'm asking you this. I'm not trying to jump on you or anything here, but because you do go to church, you're the most spiritual of all of us here, I assume. Um, is it problematic when you go to church and you hear women say that Jesus is the only man I need, Jesus is my man, you know, so on and so forth? Is this a problem for you, or is that okay?
Um, well, I am a strong believer in Christ, and He is our provider. It's just it's out of context. That's what I'll say. That's the best way that I could really answer it without really going into detail. But it's out of context to say that that's all you need, and he provides and he knows what our innermost desires are. And that is why it's encouraged to get married based on the Bible, which is, God speaking through words. So the word doesn't support you only. It's out of context. That's all I can say. If a woman is saying that, that's out of context.
All right. Good answer. All right. Did you have anything else before I go to Gabe, the antagonizer?
Um, no, I just know that, I am a strong believer in marry before you carry. As I said before, I don't totally disagree with the video, but I disagree with her supporting the notion that it's okay, it's your thing, do what you want to do type concept, because you're bringing a child into the world, and as Frank said, that's not necessarily best for the child to be reared in a single parent household. And that, but I do agree with her in that it's a choice. So I oftentimes feel like we want to have our cake and ice cream and cherry on top and extra toppings. We want to do that, but we don't want to, take the end of, the stomach problems that come along with it. You can't do that. Like, it's just some things that you can't do for the ultimate success of a nation and of a people. Now, individualistically, go for it. Do what you want to do. But if you're talking about growing traditional family and actual solutions, then the family unit is going to always be stronger than woman and child.
All right. Okay. The moment we've all been waiting for. Gabe.
Drum roll, please. Take it away.
So y'all know I absolutely disagree with this video. First and foremost, can we point out what the hell this woman has on top of her head? It looks like she got a damn dust rag on the top of her damn head. So, I mean, while she's out here promoting single motherhood, we need to get her in the chair of a damn beautician, because that shit she had on her head looked a damn mess. Second off, it looked like she just snorted a line of coke before she went on camera. Her eyes are all rolled low and she talking all crazy. She looks like she is just one notch below being able to ride the short bus. So that is another observation I made. She looks like a damn fool. When I saw this video, I said, let me do a little bit of research, because we got this cokehead on YouTube encouraging women to mess their life up. So I did a little research, and she said you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Now I did agree with the fact that you got to deal with the consequences, but she never talked about what the consequences are. And that's a problem over here in Black society. Do as you will, thy will be done. But they never talk about the consequences. So I went and I found some. So let me read this. Let me pull this up here. Give me a second. Right here. Okay. So Black women are the head of household of 29% of all Black households. I got this from blackdemographics.com if you want to fact check me. This is compared to 13% of all other groups of women. That is double the rate. 33% of Black women who gave birth were married, compared to 64% of all women. So it goes on to say this. These additional responsibilities may also explain why Black women are slightly overrepresented in the workforce compared to all women, and even higher than Black men at 67%. Even though Black women are overrepresented in the workforce, they still have a higher unemployment rate than all women. 10% compared to 6% respectively. All of these factors help explain the higher poverty rate for Black women, 29% compared to that of all women, 17%. Only 26% of black women are currently married, while only 30% of all women in America have never been married. Black women are also less likely to be separated from their spouses, which is a good thing compared to all women at 9%, but are much more likely to get divorced, 13% compared to 3%. So Frank had a really good point when he said he worked in the criminal justice system, and that most people that are incarcerated are black males. They're usually raised by black women, and that in turn shows that they were raised in poverty. She didn't mention one time that black women ain't really making no damn money out here, so they can't successfully raise these babies, and how that affects the society, black society as a whole. You're the least desired on the planet. You're the least married on the planet, but 72% of your children don't know what it's like to have a father in the home. And we think this is okay. 5,000 people watched that damn video. She had all kinds of likes on it. You go, girl. Yeah, I agree. But nobody ever talks about the consequences. And not one time did she mention the child and how the children are affected by this. We never talk about this. We don't talk about how most of our children don't read on their grade level. We don't talk about how a lot of these children don't get 3 meals a day. The school system has to feed them. We don't talk about this shit, but she's sitting over here promoting and do what you want to do. It's okay. It's not okay. Nobody thinks about these children. Black women they're the most selfish group of women on the planet. How in the hell can you sit here and look me in my face and tell me you love your child, but you're bringing this child into a world of poverty? Shit don't make no sense. It's ass backwards. All other groups of women out here, they get married for 64% compared to 33. That's double the rate. All the other women are getting married before they have kids versus your dumb ass at 33%. Those numbers are disturbing as hell. But can't nobody tell me nothing because I'm strong and independent and I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. To hell with the kids, to hell with the community. I don't give a damn. But when I can't put gas in my tank or feed my babies, woe is me. Somebody come fix my crown. The hell I will. I'm not fixing your damn crown. And you sitting out here making these moves and making these decisions without a thought of anybody else in the world. During Christmas time, if you go down there to the Salvation Army, you got all these hoes lined up trying to get free gifts for their kids because the father's nowhere around to buy them any damn thing. They have to go to the soup kitchen and get free turkeys and free hams, but this isn't a problem. Fuck out of here, man.
That's facts.
I'm done.
That's facts. Oh. Yana, you asked Angel a question about where she thought, the church, like where it kind of went left. And I was thinking, like, once the church started becoming a business, it changed the entire focus of its purpose and its intent. Because now, like, growing up in our grandmother's time, you had a little small church on the corner in every community. He had a regular job, and all this kind of stuff. So once the church got, mechanized and monetized and it became a big business, then you're at the beck and call of your consumer. So when you go to these churches, you don't see anything but single women in there, single women with kids. That's the majority. So if you tell them the truth and you talk to them and say, look, what you're doing is wrong. It's wrong biblically, it's wrong socially, it's wrong economically, it's just wrong across the board. And you hold these women accountable. Most people aren't going to be honest with themselves and stay there and take that work. The first thing they're going to do is that's going to pander to me. I'm going to go to a church that tells these men, they need to get up and do their part, but they don't really tell me I have to do my part. And that's where they're going to go. They're going to be, they want to go somewhere where they're pandered to, where someone can stroke their ego and fix that crown, so to speak, like how we've been talking about. So once they got to a position where, they needed that money to boost these ministries and get these bigger buildings and these TV deals and these book deals. They just made a choice. They made a deal with the devil to say, hey, a lot of stuff that I know is wrong, I'm just going to ease. I'm not going to be honest and tell the truth. I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to pander to my demographic. And unfortunately, that demographic in the church is predominantly single mothers. So.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. So, Angel, you have anything to jump on that before I start asking other questions?
I do. I would like to add the point of we can't have it both ways. So in one breath we'll say it's not a choice. One argument, one side of the coin is this is not a choice. We did not make this choice. Woe is me. There's no good man out here. He wouldn't marry me. And, we were together and I loved him on one end of the coin. And then this lady is saying, well, it's a choice. So which one is it? In the whole argument of the single mothers, is it a choice? Yes or no? And in my opinion, it is a choice, but it's a selfish choice. Yes, I can have a baby. I'm financially able to have a baby. I know that my parents would be there. I don't think that whoever, the caliber of the man that I'm with, wouldn't necessarily take care of the child. But on the same token, why won't he marry me? So I have to look out for myself first. Like people ask me, oh, you don't have any children. I said, I got to get this ring finger secured first. Let me do that first. And then let me move on to the bigger things. Like carrying somebody's child. I mean, it's a small symbol, it's a small token of, a ring, but that's important to me. And I just believe and Gabe broke down the numbers very well, even though he he has his a strong distaste for single mothers. Again, to each their own, but I just think when we're talking about solutions, we have to look at it from a general perspective. And the way we're going about it right now, live your life the way you want to, do what you want to do you. Selfish, that's not going to work when it comes to truly building nations and building families, traditional families. And again, things happen, we get caught up in the moment. And I know we were also in the Facebook group, we were talking about, using birth control and why people don't want to do that. But that's something that we're going to have to really think about, or just go back to the result, marry before you carry. So I think it's a simple childhood song. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby with the baby carriage. We used to sing it as kids, hand games, jumping rope. And now it's just kind of time to apply that, and not even to bring religion or church in there. Morally, it just makes more sense, and even for men to protect their legacy and build their legacy. And I know people say that even if you're married, there's no guarantee that he will be there, but it's always different when it's your ex-husband versus your baby daddy. That's two different,
Well,
two totally different. I know you asked the question, what is a baby daddy? It's a lot different if you have an ex-husband versus a baby daddy. So it is a choice. And I think that, as I said before, we want to, unfortunately, play both sides of the coin and say it's a choice or no, it's not a choice. He needs to step up. He needs to do that. But as a woman, it is my choice to become a single mother.
Angel, I gotta ask you something here. Sorry if I cut you off.
No worries.
Why do women constantly say that phrase to themselves? Even if he marries you, there's no guarantee he's gonna stay. Isn't that a defeatist mindset?
I don't say it so, but yes, it is. It is. I mean, it's along the same lines of all men cheat. It's the same notion. So I don't agree to that statement, but it is a common phrase. It is going into it that way, but I think people also say that to more or less throw it in your face to discourage you from planning traditional family, to say that, well, that's not guaranteed, and nothing in life is guaranteed. But I don't say that. Again, I think a masculine man, he will do what he needs to do, and a feminine woman will do what she needs to do to maintain a healthy family. And that means she's going to be in her feminine core, and he's going to be in his masculine energy. And I think that also helps and cuts down on a lot of the stepping out on relationships and looking for something else. Or, if he's a masculine man, then he's about providing and protecting his family and even her emotions. And if he's out here doing the most and sleeping around, I don't think he's on his masculinity as much as his focus is slightly off. His logic is a little flawed
Okay, so
in that. And
Angel,
women, we're much more emotional. So naturally, if we're in our feminine energy, we're gonna.
Let me
okay,
point this out. Let me point this out. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. And I just read that's just the tip of the iceberg I just read to you. And the numbers ain't in the favor of single mothers. Point blank period. These pimp pastors can lie to you. Derek Jackson can lie to you. All these simps and all these dusty, dirty hoes can lie to you. These numbers ain't lying. So we could, at the end of the day, these numbers that I just read, like, it's abysmal. It is abysmal
Right.
for our community and for our children. Like, it's the children that we have to think about more than anything. I love kids. Kids love me. And I think it is absolutely asinine, and it makes me sick to my stomach to know these are the women that are out here raising our children. So at the
right.
end, like I said, at the end of the day, men lie, women lie, these numbers don't. So
And I think even just your love for children, you love yourself enough to know that you want to protect your legacy and you want to have a stronger hand in your legacy. And that's why you don't have a baby mama. Because you don't want the legal system involved in your situation. So
Right.
Frank,
that's why you're looking for a wife to marry so that you can protect, your last name and really build on that. And I think even if you look at the Buffetts, the Rockefellers, I mean, if you look at generational wealth, a lot of that mixing is not in when you're talking about true wealth, the Waltons, and you're not mixing the bloodlines, and that's just the bottom line. So I mean, even from a logical perspective, and that's and women just saying I want his child, but why? Like, why would I give you the opportunity to we just have a baby together and that's it? I don't have a ring on my finger. People see me, I'm in the airport lugging around a baby with no husband. Like, it's too much. It's just for me to even want to have to figure out. Right now, because I'm single, I can just get on the plane and go. I don't have to worry about, all the extras, but you need that help. You need that shoulder. You need that extra support in building a family and rearing a child. You need that. And it's just, obviously, I grew up in a two-parent, well, not obviously, but I grew up in a two-parent household. So it's just something that I'm used to, but I had cousins that didn't, but I'm used to it and I strongly support it. And I think as women, there's things that society encourages, like do what you want to do and, make sure you get yours.
you gotta be strong and independent. You
And
you ain't
that's
strong and
off.
independent. You
Right.
know, you gotta be
That's
Right.
strong and
off.
independent out here to care for your kids. I'm a strong woman. I can lug these children around on my hip. I'm strong and independent. Now I can't put no gas in my tank. I'm strong and independent, and I got WIC and food stamps and EBT cards, but I'm strong and independent. So you ain't strong and independent if you ain't doing that.
So
uh,
it's nothing strong about, like, oh, okay. First, and a woman says, well, I could be married, or I could do, could still cheat, or he could still be irresponsible. What that is a coping mechanism, and that is an excuse for her to do what she already wants to do, which is not be that. Um, so she has a built-in excuse. We all know, hey, if we have a job, there's a probability that we could get fired. It don't mean that, we know with these STD rates in Atlanta that, anytime you lay down and have sex with someone, there's a probability that you could come up out of her with a, with some unsafe sauce. You know what I'm saying? You could be out here reckless. So there's a probability of that too. There's a probability of that too. But that has not stopped black people from smashing. Okay, so yes, that you could be married and you could get divorced, or you could be married and do all the things that a feminine woman is supposed to do, and it doesn't work. But that still doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive for it and that you shouldn't be out here doing it. And let's be honest, like, black independent woman, I can do it by myself. That's a myth because they're not doing it by themselves. If it wasn't for grandma watching them kids or filling in, or filling in those holes, those kids would be struggling. Most of these single black married, these single mothers are one paycheck away from being out on the street. No wealth built. There's no wealth passed down to the next generation. Single mothers, single parents, single mothers specifically are not building wealth. They're not passing it down to the next generation. They're doing the absolute bare minimum. They're putting a roof over their head sometimes. They're putting food on the table sometimes. It is not possible. I don't care who you are. You talk to any single parent woman who's telling the truth. They cannot do it all. They don't do it all. You cannot go to work 40 hours a week, come home, cook, clean, do homework, do everything that you're supposed to do as a mother, be at a job, as a woman, and it's impossible. Somebody's filling in those blanks, whether it's the baby daddy's doing it or grandma's doing it or somebody's doing it. But this whole notion of I'm independent, I'm single, I can do it by myself, I'm doing it by myself, that's a lie. And anybody who's close to it knows it. We know the truth.
Let me say this real quick, and I know y'all got some questions for us, but Frank just mentioned homework. Do you think the chick that made this video could help her child with homework? Because she looked like she reads on a 5th grade level, and she looks like she can barely put together basic mathematic foundational equations. If I asked her what 2 + 2 was, that damn clown might tell me 6. And then we wonder why these kids score so low on the SAT and the SAT. It's because they're coming home to her. So I just wanted to throw that out there and ask the people, what do you think she's teaching her kids book-wise? We ain't gonna talk about just the social aspect, just as far as books go. I wonder, does she know what the first U.S. president is? I wonder, does she know about slavery? I wonder, does she know how to, what trigonometry is, what a triangle is, or what a circle is? Because she looked like she might want to put a square in a circle. I just wanted to put that out there.
I was looking in the chat here, and I don't want to put Dontavius on blast here, but he said, laugh out loud, my mom's still calling me to pay her bills. I said no. Now, let's step away from Dontavius's mom. I don't want to talk about his mama. But do we have an issue in the black community of our older women who've been single moms for so long, never had a protector, provider? They made that choice, apparently. Do we have an issue with them leaning on their sons and daughters to take care of them, thus preventing their children from being able to build wealth?
I'll be transparent for a moment. I grew up in a single parent household. It was just my mom and my 3 brothers. By the time my mother was 23 years old, she had 3 children. She got pregnant with my oldest brother at 15, had him when she was 16 years old. So she was, I grew up in a single parent household the majority of my life. And when I got old, I'll say this too, a lot of women feel like they do it out of love because they want unconditional love. But, once I started resenting my mother, and as soon as I could, I got the hell up out of there. And so, when I got older and I met my wife and we got married, I started having issues with my mom because, before I got married, I would be there for her. She needed something, I would give it to her. She wanted me to come home, because I'm from North Carolina originally. So I would come home from DC a lot to, do stuff for her and all of that. And so, I knew I shouldn't have been doing it, but I did anyway because I wasn't in no serious relationship. But once I got married, she started really, and it got to a point where my mother, she lost her home. So I had built this, my wife and I, we built this big house. Our second house is, nice size house, like 6,000 square feet, 6 bedrooms. And I wanted my mother to come up and stay. I was like, look, you come up and stay. I don't want you to pay for anything. I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to come and, and just, you can stay here. I'm thinking everything is cool. So she came up And her and my wife just started beefing constantly. She was in here telling my wife what she should put furniture and how why do you put the pans in this cabinet and all this kind of stuff. So I literally it got to a point where I had to ask my mother to leave. I had to put her out. My own mother, because she put me in a position where I had to make a choice between her and my wife. And I don't know why she didn't know it, but I'm going to choose my wife every time. That's my wife, and that's my legacy. So I'm not going to, but she put me in a position where she wanted me to kind of play that Jody role for her. It literally felt like, even though this is my mother, it literally felt like I was fighting between two chicks I was sleeping with. You know what I mean? Like it was like I was in college or something, and these two girls that I was sleeping with found out about each other, and they were competing for my attention and for my God. Straight up. I mean, so
that's real.
And it's true. Like we're on a better plane right now. You know what I'm saying? But it'll never be the same. But I do. It is tough, because when you grow up in that single parent situation, a lot of times, that Oedipus complex is real. And so I literally became, her boyfriend until she had one. I played that role. When she was short, I was giving her money. Every time I would call her to talk to her, see how she was doing, she always talked about how she needed something. She needed something fixed. She needed some money. She didn't have anybody to do it. So I was really finding myself playing that role, unfortunately.
I almost threw my phone out this damn window. Like, god damn.
Angel hasn't said anything. Angel, are you still with us? Are you doing something?
I'm still here.
Do you have anything to say about that as a woman?
It's gonna happen. I mean, when you're out of order, you're gonna just stay out of order. And making a choice to be a single mom, I mean, that's just you're out of order. And the thing of it is, and that's the good part about the movement, inner beauty movement, it really encourages you to stay in order and really walk in that purpose. And again, as Frank just gave the example, he was there to kind of right that wrong and put his mom in line so that his wife can still maintain, peace in her home. He was protecting her emotions. And, that's what, you can't lean on other men for that protection and that provision. Like, that's just one thing that when you really understand the importance of being feminine and walking in your purpose, life just moves that much better. And I'm saying this without a husband. I'm saying that I understand order and I walk in that in everything that I do, even at work. And being middle management or having a management role, there's still things that I will and will not do. Just I'm going to maintain.
But Angel, why would, and let's step away from Frank's mom here. Let's talk about a single mom who's older, like elderly at this point. Why would somebody like that, who has to lean on her children because she has no protective provider, she made the choice to not have that. Why would she not then try to tell younger girls that single motherhood is not the way to go?
Because that's all she knows. That's all she knows. She doesn't see it any other way. She's actually probably bitter, but she doesn't really see, the thing of it is, and even for me, like, how well, I don't know if you all men would know this or not, but it's kind of like something is missing, or you've taken the time out to build this man cave, an example, but something is missing. Like, everything is fine, you're going about, but something is missing. And then once you get it, it makes everything, or if anybody's ever had to wear glasses, that's a good example. You can see without them, but once you get them, everything is that much more, you can focus. And I think that's just how femininity is. Like, once you really kind of get that, that's like your aha moment. It's just more clear. So if I don't know this, I can't really speak on it. So even for like the younger women that are new to the movement, I would definitely encourage them to keep going with it. Trust the process. It's hard because society tells us otherwise. Society has ladies like this lady on here, or women on here talking, nonsense about do what you want to do, Freedom, you want a baby? I'm glad I cried about it. I even want another one. Ha 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 ha. Who's gonna take care of them? Um,
Her mama.
exactly. Or us as citizens, taxpayers. So I think it's things that it's conversations that are hard to have because it seems like I can say all this because I don't have children and I'm not a single mother. So it seems like I'm coming from a hypocritical, not a hypocritical place, but just a very critical
Privilege.
place. Right, because I don't have that. But um I was reared to believe in the strength in a two-parent household. I went to a suburban school, so that's what we saw. I mean, in my dance class, father daughter dance, it wasn't a mystery of who was going to be my dance partner for the father daughter dance. He was there. My dad is still there. um I have an older brother, so I think once, if you're not really,
So you're
and
saying,
it's very fitting for just the accountability piece. And what happens is it gets mixed up because you are thinking about yourself, but you're being selfish, and that's the biggest difference.
all right. So let me get into the questions here. Um, Let me start with
And I'm gonna have to jump off in like 15 minutes. So
okay, well, let's start off with you then. What's a single mom?
a single mother is a woman who has chosen to have a child without marriage.
Frank, Gabe, anybody want to disagree or add anything to that? All right. Okay. Um, Angel.
Hold on one moment.
Okay, let's go over to Gabe. Gabe, you with us?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is a divorcee considered a single mom?
No.
Uh,
At least she had the damn sense to be married first before she had kids. Um, and she will have, according to whatever agreement, um, rights to whatever he has. So, um, no, a divorcee is not a single mother. She did it the proper way. She went through the state. It's documented that she was somebody's wife, and not baby mama. Um, and again, if something were to happen to the husband, um, she would have rights to whatever, like insurance or pension or anything like that. And the kids would be secured. The kids are a lot more secure when you were married and then you divorce and things just didn't work out. So no, a divorcee is not a single mother. No, she at least she had the damn sense enough to get married first. So no.
Frank, is a divorcee a single mom?
No, she's not. I agree with. Excuse me. I agree with Gabe. She put her household and her legacy in a good position to be successful. Sometimes things don't work. People grow apart. But at the end of the day, she thought enough of her womb and enough of her children to put them in a household where there could be a woman and a man present. So because of that, no, she's I don't look at her the same as I would look at a single mom.
All right, awesome. Let me go back to Gabe here. Is it more beneficial to be a single mom than to be a woman who is married with kids?
Absolutely not. And the numbers show that. If if you're born into a single motherhood or a single parent household, rather, you're twice as more likely to be raised in poverty. So the numbers show us that there are way more benefits to being married. This is why I don't understand why women are so opposed to being married before they have kids. One income, two incomes is always better than one. And just the family structure is beneficial. They've done studies that show that kids coming from a two-parent household, they score higher on tests. They have a higher college admission rate. They're more sound mentally. They're more healthy physically compared to kids that grow up in a single parent household. These are numbers. You can research this. So, no, what benefit does single motherhood have? A lot of kids that come from single parent households, if you've ever dated someone, and I've dated 3 women that came from single parent households, the mindsets are totally different. They look at life differently. They're always in survival mode. They'll do things and say things and look at things like you won't look at coming from a 2 parent household. So no, there's no benefit to being in a single parent household versus being in a 2 parent household. Like absolutely not.
All right, Frank. With all these government benefits for single moms set aside specifically for single mothers, is it not more beneficial to be a single mother?
No, because anything that someone can give you, someone can take it away. And when they take it away, that's just gonna hurt. And I don't feel sorry at all. When you look at black people specifically in this country, we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom economically. And when you look at the groups and races of people who are above us, which is pretty much everybody at this point, you have to look at some things that are similar across the board for them. They marry more, they own more businesses, they build more wealth, and they pass it down to their children. They have more distinct roles in the household. And all of those things, that is putting us at the bottom economically, and is making us depend, or is forcing women to make a choice, a bad choice, but a choice to be subsidized by the government. But like I said before in the beginning, anything that could be given to you can be taken away from you. And there's going to come a point in time where the government, and it's looking like that now, under the Trump administration, he's already hinted at it. But a time where people say, look, any more money or benefits or anything like that, and you're going to be out here on your own. And they're going to struggle, because it's not like they're taking it, putting it to the side and building wealth and putting it and funding, and putting their kids through college with it. They're doing stupid things with it. They're taking, they're making sure their kids look cute, and they're making sure that they have some name brand, some nice labels on it, and their hair done all the time, which is nice. But at the end of the day, they're going to struggle on what they look like as opposed to who they are on the inside. And they're putting this product out in the world, and they're set, because they're not going to know how to survive. They're not going to know how to deal in the real world, a world that doesn't care about your excuses, a world that's full of men that don't want to hear about your excuses of what happened to you younger. So no, it's setting them up to fail across the board.
All right. This next question, Angel said she's jumping back in. She's not in yet, so I'm going to ask you again, Frank. I want Gabe to answer this one last. So, Frank, let me ask you again. Actually, here we go. Angel, you in?
Yes, I'm back.
All right, I got a very important question for you here. Tread lightly on this one.
I can't hear you that good.
You can't hear me? Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Angel has an Obama phone over there. So
You said what, Gabe?
you got an Obama phone over there. You got the you going the minutes, them government minutes over there.
Yeah,
They government data plan.
Can you hear me now, Angel? Can you turn the volume up?
I tried to. I mean, it's maybe just gonna be faint. Go ahead. I'm listening though.
All right, it's just a simple question. Do women choose to be single mothers? Let me rephrase that. Who creates single motherhood? Men or women?
Women. I think we do.
Do you have a follow-up? A reason why you say that?
As the lady said in the video, it's a choice. It's a choice. And we have, as essentially you set the expectation. We teach people how to treat us, and that's the bottom line.
All right.
And with that being said, if I allow a man to do whatever, if I don't have expectations, if I don't have standards myself, then guess what? I'll get whatever result that is. And because we are emotional, because we do fall, because we're more internal, um, we can confuse a man just enjoying our company with that he loves us the same way, and he may not love us the same way. The only measure of that would be the ring, that he truly loves us to the same level that we love and care about him. So, with that being said, it is a choice that we make as women
All right.
to
Now,
become single mothers. That's I've heard it said oftentimes for we pick, our baby daddies, and men pick their wives, and I believe that.
all right. Thanks, Angel. Now, look, I was gonna go to Frank first and go to Gabe last, but I know Gabe is just dying to answer this. So, Gabe, do women choose to be single mothers?
Absolutely, they choose to be single mothers. You got 19 different forms of birth control. You're allergic to that shit. You're allergic to responsibility. You're allergic to accountability. When you lay down with a nigga and you let him hit you raw and you let him deposit his seed in you, you are making a conscious effort to be a single mother. That take effort to do. You have to sit down and think, okay, I'm not going to use a condom. I'm not going to go to my doctor and get on birth control. If I get pregnant, it's on me. Ladies, women will tell you that. It's my body, my choice until the child is here. And then it's the man needs to take responsibility, or y'all need to help me raise this child. It's your body, your choice. Men have no say in you keeping the baby or getting an abortion. We don't have no say in that. Okay? So as time goes on and you decide you want to bring that child up in this world, it absolutely all on you. That's why I don't feel sorry for these hoes that sit up and have all these damn kids. I don't feel bad for them. The story about the lady at the gas station didn't pull on my heartstrings. It didn't. Because you sat there and you made the decision to have these kids. You have all these kids with these no good niggas and then get mad at niggas or society or Nicole or me or Yannick when shit don't go your way. So I have no sympathy for these hoes. They make these conscious efforts to be in these fucked up ass predicaments and situations. That's on you, player. I ain't got nothing to do with that. So it's all on the woman.
They'll leave the movement because it's not, it's not essentially telling them what they want to hear. They'll get disgruntled at us in the movement and say, well,
don't get mad
y'all should not be that hard on us because we're trying. And the thing of it is, I do understand that mistakes happen. I get it. I truly do. I think mistakes happen.
Angel,
we got to get up out of that. It's a mistake. No, it's only it's only a small window that a woman can get pregnant every month. That and Angel, I love you. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that mistake shit got to go out the window. Oh, it was a mistake. Mistakes happen. Hell no, they don't happen. A lot of these chicks that sit there and tell you it's a mistake. What's that?
Gabe, I think Frank. Let's hear Frank real quick.
Now I'm blessed.
Oh, my bad. Sorry for cutting you off there. I thought you had something important to say.
I could wait till my turn. I just was,
No, I was just saying. And I'm gonna let Frank talk because Frank, I'm glad Frank came in. Thanks for being open too, Frank. We appreciate that, brother. But that mistake shit has got to stop. That it just happened. Oh, it's immaculate conception. I had no idea I was gonna have this child. No clue. Now you have an unprotected sex and you letting the nigga unloading you, and you don't know how the child is here. This shit makes me mad. When women say it was a mistake. And I dated single mothers and they both told me the same thing. Oh, well, it was just a mistake. It was a surprise. Like, how was it a surprise? How? The hell? So I want the mistake narrative to go away. It needs to go away, especially in the Black community. Because that gives single mothers power. Oh, it was a mistake. Things just happen. That's a really big mistake to make, bringing a child into this world. Didn't nobody just touch you and you got pregnant. You made the decision to do that. Okay, I'm done.
Frank?
Uh, I I love Angel's energy, but she's been very nice. I too don't believe that there are any excuses. Um, believe that it's a woman's fault because women, like we've discussed here, this during this entire video, women have all the choices. You have like women who don't want kids don't have kids. Just because um, does not have children. Now, what that does not mean, and I don't know her personally, but what that does not mean is that she or women like her aren't having sex. What that means is that they are making a conscious decision, a conscious choice to say, look, I'm not going to have a kid. Whether that means I'm going to abstain, whether that means I'm going to protect myself, whether that means, by what I do, whether I take the shot or the foam or the pill, or I make sure that when I have intercourse with a man, or my boyfriend, whoever, he has to wrap up every time. And even then, after all, get pregnant, you can say, you know what, look, I'm not ready for this child. I'm not ready to raise a child right now. I don't know where I am with the father. I don't know if he wants a child. So, I'm going to have an abortion. There are several different options that a woman could take that a man has nothing to do with. Like a man, I've heard women say that, well, if he didn't want a child, he shouldn't have, came in me or whatever. But there are plenty of dudes that you slept with that you didn't keep their kid. You know what I'm saying? Like
to that point, like I understand what everybody is saying, right. But to that point of the emotional aspect of it, we are emotional. And that's why I said it's important that we operate in that all the time. So with that being said, don't put yourself in those situations. And I think that's really what we're getting at, because it's a big decision to ask someone to abort a child, or, as you said, choose which one you want to keep or not keep. That's a big decision because it is a life and we are naturally nurturing. So with that being said, you just can't play the game. You have to pick a side. And that's just really what my point is. And I'm not making excuses, but accidents do happen. And I can't justify that. Is that majority of the reason why we have more single moms in our community? Absolutely not. Majority of the reason is a choice that we make. Those that do that, you're right. Those that want to get pregnant, it's a choice. I'm just saying it is a small window. But with that being said, let's that's why it's important that we really understand the feminine being feminine. And naturally you're going to want to nurture and carry that child and do the best for that child, with or without. But why put yourself in that situation? Right. So it's really right. It's really, you can't think logically and emotional at the same time. Like you're gonna fall into place, and you're gonna, like Gabe said earlier, playing silly games.
Angel, sorry to interrupt here. You just made an interesting statement, and I had a question here that possibly would be good to ask right now. Do Black women use children as leverage?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because you were just saying that, as a nurturer, you see a child, it's a tough choice to make, so on and so forth. That's on one hand. But on the other hand, you could also say that a lot of these women use their children as leverage with the state to get benefits from them, or with the man to try to get him to marry her or to commit to her, so on and so forth. Gabe, you want to take it away?
Okay. Say that question one more time.
Do Black women use children as leverage?
Hell yeah, they use them as leverage. Absolutely. Nicole mentioned in her live the other day that women are still playing this game of trap a nigga. And trap a nigga ain't worked in 30 years. There's a documentary in 1987, the year I was born, talking about, they said that single motherhood was a crisis in the black community. That was 31 years ago. And these women are so game goofy out here. They man ain't teaching them shit. The dad was nowhere around to teach them anything. That they think that having a man's child keeps him around. This is why you see so many of them when things don't work out and he decides to move on, they get real pissed off and then they go to child support court and they slashing tires and they're busting windows out the car and they pulling up, fighting the new woman, all that, because the child's supposed to be leveraged. The child is supposed to keep the man interested. And when it doesn't, because it never does, men these days aren't going to stay with you because you have his child. They're disappointed in the results. Again, if you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. And trying to have a nigga's kid so you can keep him around does not work in 2018/2019. It ain't worked in about 30, 40 years. It ain't working today, and it's not gonna work in the next 30, 40 years. So women, if you still doing that, trying to have a man's baby to keep him around, just know that your reward will be a lifetime of heartbreak and disappointment.
Frank?
Again, I agree. It's single moms use the kids for as far as leverage is concerned, for a myriad of reasons. One, like we've already talked about, to try to keep a guy. Another thing is to monetize the child by getting money and things like from the guy with child support. But there are a lot of emotional areas too where they use the child for leverage. One being that, they want someone to love them, want to look at them despite all of their faults, despite everything that they've done, and love them unconditionally. Kids do, for the most part, up until a certain age. They say, look, my mom is my hero. A lot of us grew up in the hood. If you say something about our mom, those were fighting words, regardless of whether it was true or not, regardless of what she did or not. If you say something about her, expect to catch a few hands. So for one, they want to be loved unconditionally. Two, it kind of gives them a built-in excuse, because if things don't go well, if their life isn't where they want it to be at a certain age, they can always look at the child and say, well, or they can always point to the child and say, well, look, I had these dreams. I was supposed to be the next Michelle Obama, but I had these kids, and they kind of set me back. And so it's kind of a built-in excuse for their failures sometimes in their personal life, whether it be career-wise or something like that. So the children are leveraged, unfortunately, and it's wrong, but I don't really see it going anywhere anytime soon.
All right. I had another question here. Angel, unless you had something to say about that. All right. Okay, so the next question is, and let me get this one to Gabe. This is the last of the soft questions. It's going to get real deep in a second after this one. So, question is, are Black women taught to choose single motherhood? Gabe?
Yes, because they're not taught to teach marriage and, two-parent households. Yeah, they're taught this. Again, and they grew up like this. This is all they know. And their sorry ass moms don't tell them any better. So they'll sit there and encourage them to have kids before they're married because their clock is ticking. Instead of giving them game on how to get married, they give them game on how to have kids. And that's a real big problem among the Black community and Black women. And a lot of these young girls. That's why I honestly, as hard as I am on women, I do have a soft spot for young women, but would be 25 and under, because a lot of them just don't know no better. And you have all these old bitter hoes, which I cannot stand, teaching them to do things that are detrimental to their life. And these women know it's detrimental. They know that being a single mom isn't productive or conducive to their life. They know this, but they teach them that anyway. Girl, go on, get pregnant. You know, you getting old. You don't want to be out here being no old mama. You know, stuff like that. They don't tell them the flip side of the coin, you know, about being in poverty or always struggling and not being able to properly care for the child. So they're definitely taught this. It's a learned behavior. They don't just come out the womb like this. They have to be taught this.
All right, Frank. Are black women taught to choose single motherhood?
Absolutely. They're taught at home. They're taught in music. They're taught in the media. They're taught in movies. They're taught everywhere. Unfortunately, they're even taught, religiously in church. They're taught that whatever they want, and somebody's going to forgive them. Somebody's going to love them, and that's they take that and they go out into the world with it and expect everyone to follow suit, and it's not true. And you asked you asked Angel, you said, why aren't older women teaching these young girls how to be women and how to save themselves and how to not make the same mistakes they did. And they're not doing it because in order to do that, they have to admit defeat. They have to accept the fact that, hey, I played a game and I lost. And look in the mirror and face that truth. They want to justify their mistakes. They want to act like their mistakes never happened. So instead of giving these young girls to sit there and say, well, hey, it wasn't my fault. It's these guys' fault. So do what you do, and it's okay. So yeah, absolutely, they are heavily influenced. I truly believe that our dysfunction in the black community fuels this country. We fuel the criminal justice system. We fuel it, and the majority of that fuel is coming from households and with single mothers. So it's definitely promoted and endorsed because it a lot of people a lot of money.
All right, Angel, you with us?
I am. I am at work today, but.
No problem. All right, let's skip over
So
this question.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Okay,
Or
all right.
did we get enough feedback on it?
I wanted to ask you a better one before you get sidetracked or somebody asks you something at work there. We're getting into the hard questions here. So next question is, why do women choose single motherhood over male leadership?
Mm.
And when I say women, I mean our women, of course.
Yeah, using that term loosely there.
Generally speaking, I think a lot of people, women, specifically black women, are in opposition of it because it's society encourages it. And it's, as Frank mentioned, we've been playing the game and losing for so long until you just eventually you change the rules of the game. So like when we play Foursquare back in the day on the playground, you know, you would say do over, to get another chance or another opportunity. But if you set the rules and say no do overs, which is the real world, you just wouldn't want to play the game anymore if you're not good at Foursquare. Like if you're not good at controlling the ball and really just understanding how the game is played, staying within your square. So I think it's comforting and it's easier just to do what you want to do and change the rules. But you're going to get those ambiguous results. You're going to get the heartaches. You're going to get the pain that comes along with it. You're going to get the struggle relationships with your family members, with your children, with your, you're going to get everything that comes along with it because you are out of order.
All right. So,
And I think if someone chooses that, and that's why the masculine leadership is so hard to follow, because and sometimes it's just challenging too, just to follow male leadership, because of the simple fact that they want to be in the lead, and that's why they make the choice to do that. That's why you choose the decisions that you choose, because you want to be in the lead.
all right. So, Angel is softballing that question there. Let's go with Frank, and then of course we're gonna go with Gabe. Frank, what do you
Why
think?
why why do you think I'm softballing the question though?
This should not be a around the world answer. Why do our women choose single motherhood over male leadership? I
Because they
mean,
want to. I mean, because they want to. It's the choice that they make. I mean, that's the short of it. It's the choice that they make.
why do they want to and other women don't?
Because they've never really seen the value in it in their communities. They've never seen the value in it.
All right, Gabe, I know you want to say something, man. Go ahead.
Listen, they see the value. Hell, they see how these other groups of women are out here getting married and have all this success, and they sitting over here struggling. So
But
they
that's what I
choose.
mean by, in their mind, they don't see that. They don't see. You just saw the lady on the live in the beginning of this podcast. What did she say? At the end of it, she's praying and she's saying, I know what she's been through, and let's fix each other's crown. That's delusional thinking. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's something that we're missing as a people. For you to get on there and say fix your crown, what do you mean fix your crown?
She don't even
we're about
have a
nine we're
crown.
about 9 months and 3 years too late to fix a crown.
Frank, you can jump in.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Frank go because I got a lot to say on this.
Okay. I would say women choose single motherhood because they don't want to be held accountable. When you're in a relationship with someone, there's accountability that comes from both sides. Um, as you guys know, I'm married, so I'm accountable to my wife to provide for her and to protect her, and to build a household for her, to mother in. That's so, and if I'm not doing that, then I have to be held accountable by her and to children. And me, she's accountable to. Um, I do believe I am religious. I do believe in Christianity. So my wife is accountable to me in the fact that she understands that I'm the head of the household, that she is my helpmeet, that it is her responsibility as a Christian and as a woman to nurture the household that I build and create for her. And so if she's not doing that, and she does that through a myriad of different ways by raising our children, she cooks, she cleans, she does a lot of womanly things. She's very feminine, and so if she's not doing these things, then she's held accountable to me. And so but in a single, if you're a single mom, you're not accountable to anybody. You don't have to justify decisions that you make to anybody. You do what you want to do. If you want your kid, if you want your son to dress like a girl, they can do that because I'm the one. I'm the only one here. You know what I mean? If I want my kid to be out in the street instead of being in the house and all these different things, then I can do that because I'm the mom. I'm the parent. I do what I want. This is my child. So you're not held accountable to anybody. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of women like it that way. They don't want to be, because see, if a man is there and he's a real man, he's going to say, look, why are we spending all this money on how this kid looks, but we don't have any money set aside for college? Why are we focused on, taking these kids places that we didn't go to when we were growing up to try to give them some false sense of success, but we don't have any type of long-term investment set up for these children so that when we die, we can pass to their children and their children and their children. A man is going to ask these questions. A man is going to say, look, we're not doing all this stuff just because you want to do it. We're going to do stuff that's logical. I'm going to listen to you and respect your opinion. But at the end of the day, especially if you're a religious person, at the end of the day, I'm accountable for this household. If this household is in shambles, it's because of my leadership. It's because of my headship. And that's the way
true.
I see it. And so I'm at fault. So and I know that. So if it ain't right, I'm going to make it right. And making it right is looking at my wife or a woman in the face and saying, look, you're not, you're wrong. We're going to do things this way. And that's just the way it's going to be. And so, just to sum it up, a lot of women have the ability of being held accountable and having to answer to somebody. And so they choose not to.
Amen. Gabe?
Ask that question one more time because I want to make sure I get the full gist of it. Because I know what I'm gonna say, but ask it again.
Why do our women choose single motherhood over black male leadership?
Because they don't respect black men. They respect everybody else. They respect white men, Asian men. The Asian men can whoop your ass in the store. You'll go back the next day and support him. They respect Hispanic men. They respect everybody else, but they don't respect black men. That's at the end of the day, that's it. Frank had a really good point in that they don't like to be accountable for anything. I often say black women are allergic to three things: birth control, responsibility, and accountability. If they don't want to be accountable to anybody for anything, they don't want to be responsible for anybody. They don't want to answer to anybody. And when you submit yourself to male leadership, what you're saying is, hey, I don't know it all. Let me submit to you so you can lead me. And it takes humbling yourself and trusting that man. A lot of black women do not respect black women. I mean, a lot of black women do not respect black men. They're taught not to respect them at home, social media, pop culture. They're taught not to respect us. This is why they don't want to submit to our leadership. And then they get mad when other groups of women will say, hey, well, I will submit to your leadership. They get upset because, again, they want to have their cake and eat it too. Black women run the black community right now. They don't want to let go of that control. If you submit to male leadership, you're letting go of their control. The community is in shambles. Everything is in hell, but they still want to have that control. Black women have a narcissist type complex. They want to run shit. It's my way or the highway. And that is a really big problem within our community. This is why we're suffering the way we're suffering. And that's why these kids are suffering the way they're suffering. You can sit here. I done quoted all these numbers. You can have doctors come in, people that study these things and tell these women that, hey, what you're doing is not working. Shahrazad Ali been putting us up on this game 4 years. Black women are saying, fuck it. It don't matter. Excuse my language, but they're saying it don't matter. We still want to run the yard. At the end of the day, black women do not respect black men. That's why they don't want to submit to our leadership. And it's a problem. Shit got to stop. End of the day, that's what it is.
All right. Angel, did you want to add anything to that or no? I think they covered it.
I think it could. I mean, everything that's been said has been awesome. And I agree 100% with the respect piece.
All right.
And again, it's hard. They haven't seen it because it's so out of order, and that's
they've
what
never
I mean.
seen.
That's what
They've
I
never
said
seen
before.
Absolutely.
You can't operate in the masculine and the feminine and think you're gonna not. You're emotionally, you're out of balance, so it's gonna look the way the community looks, and you're gonna get those results that we see today.
Let me say this real quick. Black children, black women have seen their moms skin and grin for their white bosses and their landlords. Yes, sir, massa. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anything you say. And then they see their dad come in and their brothers come in and their mom sit there and tell them over and over again, oh, you ain't shit, nigga. You ain't gonna be shit. You ain't never gonna be shit. These teachers disrespect these black boys and these girls see these teachers disrespecting these black boys, taking advantage of them, and they look to them and tell them how weak they are. They grow up like this. And then we wonder why they can't submit to our leadership. So it's a lot of moving parts to that.
I just honestly, I would say, I think that they want or there's it's a difference between what you say and what you really want. I think a lot of, like, if you go on Facebook, you just go down your friends list, you'll see some women on there, and may have a little outfit, a little club outfit where they looking, scandalous a little bit. Then you're gonna have a post about Jesus. Then you're gonna have a post about the Obamas and how they love their relationship. and I see it all the time, like because I go to church, and um the pastor of my church, he's a little older, and so you see people all the time like, oh, I love this pastor, or I love this, even if it's a pastor that's a very popular pastor that you see on TV. People say, well, oh wow, like women will say, oh wow, like I love this guy, he's great, truth to power, he's strong, he's confident. But look at the type of woman he's married to. That he's showing you that with all these scandalous women out here that he could be and might even be sleeping with on the side, he chose a specific type of woman to marry. He chose a woman that is submissive. A lot of these women, you don't really see them in the front. They support that, like even the wife of the pastor at my church. She comes out like you rarely see her, and she's like, "Look, my ministry is my husband.
Amen.
That's my ministry. He's my ministry. Not at the church, not doing all this stuff, being a part of all this stuff, being away from my home. My husband is my ministry." So now there are women that come in there every day that would sleep with him. If he gave them any idea that he wanted to smash, they would smash him in a heartbeat. But he chose a specific type of woman. So you can't want a certain type of guy if you're not willing to be a woman. And so they'll idolize it, they'll fantasize over it like it's something sweet, like it's a miracle, like they can't obtain it. But that's not true. If you have to, even with like with the Obamas, he played a little position at first, like he went to this firm where she was a partner at and he worked with her, whatever. But once he got to a certain point, once they got married, she took a back seat. Now, this is a woman who's, she's very accomplished, Ivy League education, whatever. But when this man was, running for Senate, and when he became the president, she took a back seat to a certain degree, because that's what you're supposed to do. And so if you want that, you have to play that role. You can't want to be in the sing lead all the time.
All right. All right, Frank. You might have cut out there for a second. Okay, so want to thank you for that comment. Let's go to the.
One of the single moms came and strangled him and said, "Shut up, nigga."
Oh yeah. By the way, we already have 2 dislikes on this video since we've been on.
Let me say, whoever disliked this video, fuck you. Okay, there's a special place in hell for you, nigga.
All right. So next.
Hey, be nice.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Angel. We pray for you and your single motherhood. Next hardball question. I'm going to start off with Frank.
All right.
If women of other races, or, this is what we claim. We claim that women of other races copy the black woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Example, collagen and, the stuff in their lips to make them fatter. Kim Kardashian getting butt implants. That's not natural for a woman of her ethnicity, so on and so forth. A lot of our women say that other women emulate the black woman. You can agree or disagree. Why don't they copy single motherhood?
Because they understand that there's no hope in it. And with them and other races of women, they're raised to with legacy in mind. Their thing is to be married. Like I said before, I went live a few weeks ago and I asked a question in the live. I said, how many women outside of black women do you know that have multiple, white, Asian, Pacific Islander, whoever? How many of these women do you know that have multiple children by multiple men and they've never been married? And the result was none. Nobody knew, say, hey, I know a few women who are white who have 4 kids by 4 different men and they've never been married. So they understand, and we've always heard this stereotype about white women that they are more loose and that they're more liberated than black women. But and that may be true. I wouldn't know. But even if it is true, they're still deciding, even with all of that sexual liberation, that I'm still not going to have a kid until I get married. Prime example, like I don't know if anybody knew the story with Sarah Palin. When she was in college at the University of Michigan, um, the basketball player Glenn Rice, she had a sexual relationship with him, and they were just wilding out doing what they do sexually, but she still understood, hey, I'm not gonna have a kid by this guy. I'm not gonna raise a kid on my own by this guy. Like, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna have fun, and then I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna focus on trying to be a wife and a mother in that order. So I think they only emulate Black women on a physical level, but they understand the value of being a wife and a mother and living in having a 2-parent household and securing her future, securing her legacy. And we don't see the value in that, unfortunately.
Thank you, Frank. Angel, why do other races of women not copy single motherhood, since Black women are the poster childs for single motherhood?
I would say it's because we don't, as a people, we don't respect the union of marriage and family and traditional family. So that's why we have what we have today. We don't value it. It's already been said, but that's not something that, it doesn't mean anything to us. How the kids are, we just, let somebody else deal with it, and it's their problem and they can handle it. And we're actually selfish.
All right.
I would say that it's more. I would say that it's more selfishness in it, but I will say it does sound doom and gloom, and we've been kind of harsh on the women, and rightfully so, taking accountability. But there is hope in that if you do understand order and how to get in order, and that's something that you're willing to change and work on yourself, I think that there is hope, and that is just that's why I do appreciate being able to come on the panel and just kind of express my views and my thoughts on it. Everything that's been said is so true, and I think it's also important that women hear the perspective from men, in that becoming it's important that women hear it from men, from Gabe being single, not married, to Frank and Yannick having wives, just the importance of, and Frank has children as well. So I think it's important that we understand the perspectives and stop really going against the male leadership, because we're looking foolish out here at the end of the day. I can say that it was a mistake. I can say that, we need to do better, but we really do need to do better. And it starts with the women doing better. We hold so much power. We are nurturing. We do, we do so much, and we need to really understand what that is. And that is the blessing within the inner beauty movement. So if you're not reading the book, I think we had, was it 2 proposals or one proposal on Christmas Day? One of our members received a proposal, a marriage proposal on Christmas Day. That's the results that we're talking about. Some people will never get it, and I'm fine with that. But for us that do get it, we're gonna work toward those solutions. So, with that being said, I'm gonna have to get off the phone.
Oh shoot! All right, it was great having you. Thank you so much for coming.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you, Angel.
Right. Bye, Angel.
All right, Gabe done pissed her off. Gabe, if women of other races, all right, if women of other races copy the Black woman, why don't they copy single motherhood?
Because they have a firm understanding that single motherhood does not benefit them. And their men will tell you, like, white men, I have white friends, and I tease them all the time, like, man, you gonna date your woman with a child, and I'm like, I'll get you a single mom, and they straight up tell you, hell no. They know that having kids out of wedlock severely reduces their sexual market value. They understand that, and they understand that if they want to have any semblance of a decent life, that while they're in their prime, their sexual market value needs to remain high. I'm not saying these other groups of women don't get out here and do whole things like black women do. In fact, you want to know something? I think they do more whole stuff than black women. I honestly do. It's just that they don't have they don't they're very smart about having a permanent reminder of their whole behavior. They're not going to get out here and have any kids, so they will still be able to obtain the highest level of man that they possibly can. Nicole put in the chat that most black women are rebellious. And at the end of the day, they are. They're just rebellious. They buck against the status quo. They buck against what should be done. Like, no man in his right mind wants to raise another man's child. Not even black men. But black men are shamed into doing it. And that's why most black men do, because we're just shamed into doing it. And most of our women have kids anyway. So why the hell not? But other groups of women do not. They copy our. They try to copy our skin tone. They try to copy our figures, but they do not copy our behavior because they know how destructive that behavior is, not only to themselves, but to their community at large. Other groups of women put legacy first. It's legacy first. They put their group first, and they understand that if they have children out of wedlock, or if they have children with no father around, it puts them in a severely difficult position. They understand that. Black women don't, unfortunately.
All right. It looks like Tony's back. Did you mean to come back, Tony?
You mean Angel?
I'm sorry, Angel. Sorry. I was trying to get Tony on for the last two questions. Okay, I don't think she meant to. All right. I'm going to mute her real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Frank, you got anything on that? Why? And we got Tony in here too. Thanks. Frank, why don't other races of women copy single motherhood?
It doesn't benefit them. They don't see the value in it. They don't want to struggle. They don't see any strength or any type of empowerment in struggling, and so they don't do it.
All right, short and simple. Tony, why are the only ones that love single motherhood?
Why are we the only ones that love single motherhood?
Yeah.
I actually, yeah, that's probably speaking for the masses, but yeah, I agree with what Angel said before she got off the phone. It's because don't value, relationships as far as the mother and father relationship because they never saw it. I do believe that. And it just goes back to just the massive rebellious attitudes that Black women have as well. It's that single mindset, that independent. It's from the Black mother that they grew up with that was single. So it has everything to do with just the upbringing and what they saw as examples, which wasn't good examples.
All right. Nice, safe answer.
Yeah.
Next question here, and these are the tough questions here, guys. Were our grandmothers dumb for staying with their toxic masculinity husbands?
Oh man.
All right, Gabe, you go ahead, jump it off.
Oh.
Because let me preface the question here. There is a saying or a statement going around in the Black female community that their grandmothers were dumb for staying with their husbands who cheated on them, who ill-treated them, and basically it kind of adds to the argument that marriage is not necessary and it's not a good thing for Black women. So yeah, go ahead, sir.
They were dumb for staying. I mean, well, at least she had enough common sense to get married before she had your mom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least she understood that it would be better to raise these kids with the dad around. So I've never understood that logic. She was dumb for staying. And I know I'm not, I get on dudes too. And I understand the logic behind it, kind of. Like these dudes would have, they come home and the wife would be, have food ready, dinner ready. And he'll come home, eat, kiss the kids on the forehead, then he go across town and bump around with the woman who he really want to be with. I understand all that. It's not right. It wasn't cool, but at least she had the common decency to try and do the right thing and have a father there for those kids. That's what it all boils down to. She wanted to have a father there, a provider there for those kids. It's not like the man was not around raising the children or not doing anything for them. He was just out here in the streets doing what he wanted to do. And again, I'm not saying that's right, but seldom did those women struggle. If we just want to be real, the father always kept food on the table and a roof over their head. That's a lot more that she can say than what you can do. She can say a lot more. Like her dude did a lot more for her than yours ever will. Yours ain't even around. So you kind of got to look at it in that way. I understand the logic behind it. I really do. Because a lot of those dudes did have a lot of messed up ways. But she was provided for. And ain't no nigga providing for you. So
Tony?
Well, I have kind of an experience with that. My grandparents, my grandmother was born in 1923, and my grandfather was born in 1929, I believe, if that even sounds correct. Basically, my grandmother was like 14 or 15. My grandfather was like early 20s, and he had to wait maybe till she turned 15 or 16 to actually marry her. But they did get married. They had 7 children. And I can honestly say it wasn't my grandmother being stupid for staying. It could have been my grandfather was crazy for staying because she had all these babies back to back. And I literally think it drove her crazy. Back then, they didn't know anything about postpartum, but just how my grandmother ended up passing away. She had Alzheimer's dementia. It just seemed like she lost her mind. And when you have that many babies back to back, I don't see how your body can recover. You know what I'm saying? That's like your hormones are going crazy like 7 times in a row and you didn't even give your body a break. So eventually, my grandfather, they ended up separating because my grandfather was just the normal one and she was like the crazy one, you know? So, but they did get married, like how Gabe said. At least they got married back then. They had those shotgun weddings, which I today think we should still be doing that to a certain point. I heard somebody speak on it. It might have been on another panel, but they're like, back in the day, they had shotgun weddings. If a girl came up pregnant, they forced them to get married because y'all had enough love for each other to lay down. So you might as well get married and make it work, you know? I mean, I heard that. That's probably like way far out there, but yeah, at least they got married, but they had 7 children, my grandparents did. But eventually it was my grandfather who separated from my grandmother. I mean, he was a provider. He worked for GM. They lived in Michigan, but the moment that they came out to California is when my grandmother just kind of was like accusing him of other women all the time. Like she's like, I know you over there with twin booty down the street, all this stuff. I mean, her imagination just became so crazy that it pushed my grandfather away, you know, but he started out being the provider, taking care of her and all the children. And I remember my mom saying, wow, my dad was the best dad ever. You know, she saw him being a good father in the home. So it's not always the grandmother, you know, was crazy for staying. You know, at some point, I think it was my grandfather who obviously left.
All right. Okay, Frank. Take us out, man.
Okay. I'll start it off by saying this. Um, I don't endorse anyone staying in a marriage or relationship that they deem as unhealthy.
Yeah.
whether it's whether it's physical, what have you. So I'm not going to endorse or try to get somebody to stay in a relationship that's not healthy. But I will say that in our grandparents' time, I understand why they did it because um, when you get married, you're thinking not just about yourself personally, but you're thinking about your children at the same time. And so a lot of those women back then, our grandmothers and great grandmothers, they said, "Hey, look, you know, I'm going to make a decision to put my children in the best situation possible." And that may be for me to be with their grandfather, even though, you know, he doesn't treat me that well, or he has another woman down the block, but he provides, he goes to work, he brings money here, we have food on the table, we have a roof over our heads. Just because he's a bad husband doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad father. So um, she made a conscious decision to say, hey, I'm going to put all of those things above my personal feelings and stay with him for the sake of my children. And and that could be deemed right or wrong depending on the person. But situation where you're having multiple children and you're not even thinking about a relationship, you're having kids with people that hasn't even thought about being in a serious relationship with you, let alone being married to you. You're putting your
Yeah.
children at a disadvantage, and you could and they can hate those women all they want, but look at the fruit. I mean, our children were better educated. Um, they worked hard. They had households. Um, Up until the early '70s, the majority of black children were born in households where they had two parents, and our communities were more um, were better. They were more tight knit. So I'll ask anybody,
True.
and specifically those two people, or however many, I can't see it right now, but those people who gave it a thumbs down this video, I would ask them and anybody who agrees with them to answer this question for me. How has the black community benefited from us having all of these illegitimate children? How has your decision to liberate yourself sexually and have all these children by all these men that you're not married to, that you have no desire, or they have no desire, or no want to marry you, how is that benefiting your children, and how is that benefiting our community as a whole? And if you can answer that, then more power to you. But I know you can't.
Right.
Gabe, you have anything to finish that off? Nothing. All right. Okay. So we're at
Yeah,
our last.
I didn't have anything. That was perfect what Frank said. I've said a
Yeah.
lot today.
Okay. Last question here. Should single mothers get back with their baby fathers for the good of their children? Tony?
Only if they can get along. Why get back with the father if you guys are still going to act ignorant with each other? That's not going to be a good example for the child. There's no benefit to that. That's why, I mean, I don't understand why a lot of these women, they do have children with these men, and it was dysfunctional before the baby came into the picture. I don't understand that. No, I don't think it's a good idea for a woman to get back with the baby daddy for the sake of the child. I don't.
But Tony,
If it's good, if they've kind of grown, they've been apart for a while, and they both evolved as adults and come back together, maybe get counseling, probably get married. How about get married?
you just said that you don't understand how women, how did they get with the guy in the first place if now they're here and he is, it's not a good guy or whatever. So there's always this thing of single moms after the fact saying, well, I made a mistake, but now I'm here, so what should I do? And this could be a solution. So you still think it's a bad solution to this?
Well, if there's no self evolution, if there's no self help first on either part, I think they would both need to just get counseling. Are they healed as individuals? Two broke people getting back together and having a child involved, then you're doing a disservice to the child.
All
But I
right.
would say if it's a potential, get counseling, and then how about just married then? How about that?
All right. So let's go to Gabe for the heat, and then we're gonna go to Frank for the The grandfatherly words. Gabe, should single mothers
Yeah.
get back with their baby fathers for the good of their children?
I mean, I've never understood this logic where, like, you like them enough to get pregnant by them, but all of a sudden you have all this hate and vitriol for this dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can give access to a man, give this man access to your womb, but you don't want to be with the nigga no more. This is my take on it. If you both women need to grow the fuck up. Black women need to grow the fuck up and
True.
learn to have some kind of common ground with the nigga they let deposit his seed in them. Okay? A lot of black women are immature, they're narcissistic, and they're rebellious, as Nicole would say. They're very rebellious. Black women need to put their pride to the side, put their wholeness on hold, and think about their child for just 2 seconds, okay? I described earlier in the program that how much of a disadvantage kids raised in a single parent household are. I gave numbers supporting that theory. So it's really not a theory, it's a fact. So if black women can find common ground with these men, cooperate, and like I said, put their child first and put their wholeness on hold and put their ego on hold, yes, they need to get back with the father of their children. A lot of times these relationships fail because the woman gets complacent and she gets lazy. You shouldn't be having the child in the first place, but they'll have the child, and in the back of their mind, they thinking, I got him. So they walking around with bunnies on their head. They smelling like a fish market. They're not keeping themselves up. They look like damn hobos out here. And they wondering why he's smashing all these chicks out here. They don't cook for them. They got Susan and HR cooking for them. And then they wonder why he leave your ass, go get with Susan and marry her in 6 months. So these chicks need to sit down, have a heart-to-heart with themselves, get Nicole's courses, do a one-on-one with her. Just find out what's wrong, what you did to mess the relationship up. And you go back to that man and be like, look, I'm sorry for what I did. I did XYZ. I ain't too fond of what you did, but hey, I want you in my child's life. And I want us to do that and be in his life under the same roof. You ain't got to be so head over heels in love with me. Just take care of me, take care of my child, and let's make it work. So yes, they need to make that an option. Now, if the dude is around here whooping your ass and he's not providing anything, he doesn't have a future, then no, you don't need to go back with him. Sometimes you just got to take the L. Sometimes you got to take the L and move on. Now, don't do it again. And that's another problem black women have. They do the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 baby daddies. That's the problem. If you sometimes you just got to take the L and move on. But for the most part, if you can find common ground with the father of your child, you need to find that common ground and try to make that work. Put your ego and pride to the side just for 2 seconds and just try that.
All right. Frank, do you have anything for us?
Sure. I would say, obviously, it depends on the situation, but I mean, let's just be honest. There are women out here who are still sleeping with their baby dad.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I mean, even though they're not together. So y'all still find common ground in the bedroom. You know what I mean? You can work out that situation. So, you know, just think about you have to put the best interest of the child first. And so I would say if you guys if you guys seem to have some sort of camaraderie where, you know, you guys are good enough to hang out together every once in a while and sleep together, you know, you should kind of work on or at least discuss some type of arrangement where you guys can be together and be active in this child's life. You know, obviously what Gabe said, if, you know, the picture is completely different if this person's abusive, you know, if he's physically abusive, verbally, whatever. But a lot of times that's just it. That's not it. It's a situation where, you guys are just playing chess with each other, and neither one of you want to lose, or you playing too many games with one another. You're like, look, I don't want to deal with it, but she's still, fine enough for me to smash it, but I'm not dealing with all her head games. So at the end of the day, if you can work that out and put the best interest of the child first, and that child can benefit from it, then do it. I think it's worth a shot. Obviously, you guys saw something in each other enough to lay down and have a child. So, if you don't have any prospects out there, this person, you know what their strengths and weaknesses are. If they have the potential, they want to be, a good father, a good mother, you should do it. Historically, marriages were not designed for love in the first place. Marrying for love is a new thing. Historically, people marry. Look, your family has money, my family has money. You have a daughter, I have a son. Let's marry them, and we can keep all this money in the family. That was marriage for thousands of years until somebody said, "Hey, I want to marry her because she's cute and she has a big butt." That is a new trend. So marriage has always first and foremost been for the benefit of wealth, resources, and a stable environment to raise children and to pass something down to them. So we have to get back to that. I'm not saying, marry somebody you can't stand, but if you can stand them enough to sleep with them, then you should be able to stand them enough to work things out and have a healthy relationship with them.
Tony?
Yes.
Hey, for the record, you got a big butt. I'll marry you if you got a big butt. Holler at me.
It changes a lot of things.
Holler at me if you got a big ass. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, man. You was on point with that. You was on point with that response. But if you got a big ass, my inbox is open.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So we came full circle to the answering the question of the whole podcast here. The wild card question is a question that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So the wild card question is the argument that men are intimidated by my accomplishments an attempt to shame men into dating women?
Of course. With their narcissistic attitudes, yes, it is. It's never to come to a man and say, well, this is what I can add to what you already have. That's never it. They feel like for whatever reason, they've been oppressed and suppressed from being, independent or whatever, or they think that mindset of being feminine is weak. Then yeah, they're going to come as a shame tactic, especially to a Black man, as if they're competing. And me personally, I've always said, I don't want to compete with a man. I don't even want to be on that level of doing man things, so to speak. Yeah, I might have to do it now because I'm single, but is it fun? No. I'd rather have a man that's going to be around and be the breadwinner and be the leader of the home, making the most of the decisions. I'm tired of making all the decisions. Yeah, so I feel like it is a shaming tactic. It's like, oh yeah, look, I have this, and what do you have? Because most of the time, Black women can maybe excel more in corporate America than a Black man can. So a lot of it is, yeah, I can do this, and what do you have to bring to the table? Like, what woman does that? Like, I don't even want to be in that position with my man, or even have that mindset. I'm doing it now and I want to be done with it soon. So yeah, most of the time, especially with Black women, it's a shaming tactic and they need to stop.
Thank you so much. Anybody else want to add to that before we close off?
Let me get the question one more time.
Is the argument that men are intimidated by my accomplishments an attempt to shame men into dating women?
It can be, but let me say this. Let me tell you something. Men are not intimidated by your accomplishments.
Real men.
A lot of us are married. Real men are not. Like, right. I'll be transparent again. My wife is an accountant by trade. She's very educated. She's college educated. She's an accountant. She's very successful in her own right. She makes six figures in her own right. And when we met and dated, and when we got married, she looked at me and said, you are my husband. You are the head of my household. I don't care what I make. I don't care where I went to school. I don't care, what offices I've been in over the course of my life. When you're hungry, I'm going to make sure you have something to eat. When you are horny, I'm going to make sure you are satisfied. I'm going to be the mother of your children. I'm going to be the nurturer, the helpmeet of this household.
Yes, sir.
So it has nothing to do with what she knows, what she makes, where she's been. What men have a problem with is the mindset that sometimes comes with those accomplishments.
Yes.
The arrogance that comes with it. The I don't need you that comes with it. The I don't care if you're here or not. That comes with it. The I can do all this by myself because I have done it by myself. It's that attitude that comes with your accomplishments that turns men off. A man wants a woman that's intelligent. A man wants a woman who's accomplished. A real man does. Anyway, so we don't care nothing about that. We just care about your attitude. All that stuff that you built, all that stuff that you've accumulated over your life, bringing it to this household and put all that love and intelligence and energy into dinner when I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? You can do that for me and love me and be what I need you to be as my wife and my helpmeet. I don't care if you're a Rhodes Scholar. I don't care if you went to Harvard, and I don't care who you are. As long as you understand who you are to me and to this household, and you play that position to the best of your ability, that is fine. And I'm confident enough to say that about any brother. We do not care about your accomplishments. Just make sure that you put that ego, put in the trash bag and throw it in the dumpster. That's it.
Yeah.
Gabe?
Man, Frank said that beautifully. I look for one thing, that is cooperation. I don't give a damn how many degrees you got. I don't care how many languages you speak. I don't care how much damn money you make. At the end of the day, when you come home to me, I need for you to cooperate. If you do not cooperate, stay the hell away from me. That is how most men think. Unfortunately, black women do not understand this. They think they get all these accomplishments. And can we just be real for a second? A lot of these sisters talk about how many degrees they have, and really they're not degrees. They're certificates from these community colleges, and they just certify you to wipe ass all day. Can we be real about that for 1 second? Okay. Or they're too much. Okay. Anyway, I don't really care how many damn degrees you have. At the end of the day, I need to see that you're going to cooperate with me. You're going to take care of our household, and you're going to take care of our children. And that's it.
All right. If anybody else want to say anything else, any closing words, anything you want to plug, any movements you want to plug before we close off?
I want to say something.
All right.
I just want to say, in saying all of that, you guys want cooperation, you want submission, all of that. Well, can we just make sure we're keeping it 100 as well? And Black men need to make sure they set themselves up in a position to be respected, to have cooperation, and for us to be feminine and submissive at all times. Thank you. That's
Oh, hell.
Okay.
Tony, why did you really want me to go in? You must really want me to go to hell in, man.
I think we were about to close, but
you said keeping it 100, Gabe.
Oh my God!
Wait a damn minute.
Blew up the spot. I'm just saying. Come on.
We had 1 minute left.
You don't play this back on for another. Okay, all right. I'm gonna be quick, but see, Tony, I think we agree with you. But that's something that we feel like should already be understood, and that should already be established before we even get to a point where we're smashing and where we're having kids. You shouldn't even give time and energy to someone that's not doing that, let alone a child.
But they love giving Walmart Tavius kids. That's what I don't understand. We talk about no, ma'am. We sit up here and we talk about establishing these men need to establish respect. You don't give a damn about their respect when you letting that nigga fuck you. I don't understand it. We can give kids to Pookie, Ray Ray, Walmart Tavius, and all these niggas with felonies and shit, and then we want to. Well, y'all need to make sure y'all establishing this. Y'all need to be. I don't want to hear that.
For the young women coming in, I said some wisdom. That's some wisdom for the young women and young men.
But it's a lot of older women making them dumbass decisions too. They sit up and get these bums kids, and then when we ask them why they're not respecting us, well, y'all haven't established that we need to respect. Frank just said y'all need to establish that before you even give them your draws. But they so hot in the ass that they don't establish that. So I don't like hearing that shit.
What did I establish before I smashed it? Like, I mean, that's what did I need to establish, or what did I establish with you when I smashed it? You know, like just you shouldn't
be giving panties to a nigga that's not building anything. Like, what the hell? That's just common sense. There's a lot of older women out here making that fucked up decision too.
Like,
let's cut it out.
Older men, I know we gotta go, and that's coming in that mindset too. That's why I said it.
I know we gotta roll this a whole nother topic, but I'm saying another thing for a guy too is confusing. It's like because a woman will say, well, how come I've been with this guy? I done gave him kids. I done loved on him. I'm making his food. I'm cleaning his house, whatever. But he still hasn't married me yet. He still hasn't done these things. That's one of the reasons why. Because a man is like, look, I got everything I want from you without having to really commit to you.
Yeah.
So you don't get to come back later and be like, well, how come you ain't, how come, you're not doing this? Because I didn't have to do that when I come over here and smash every other night. Because when I call you, you will get in that car at 11 at night, knowing you got to work in the morning. You'll come over here and you will serve me up. Okay, so if you're going to do that, you don't get to come back later on and be like, well, how come you're not doing this? I'm doing whatever I did to get you to smash. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. And then if you stop smashing, then I'll go somewhere else and smash somebody else.
Thank you.
That's the mindset of a guy.
Got it. I wanted to burn Gabe's hide.
You chapped my ass real good, Tony. That's what you did. Today. Good Lord Almighty. I'm done. Yannick, take us home, Yannick. In this before I go in.
Seriously, I was really shocked that this went by without incident, but there we go. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of Ultimate Black Man Radio. We do support the inner beauty movement. Anybody want to talk about that real quick?
Let me hop in on that. We are kind of an offspin of Nicole and the inner beauty movement. I love Auntie Nicole. I've been following her for a long time, and we support that. I'm a huge supporter of that. I support her Patreon. Anybody that's listening to this, if you are not a member of her Patreon, if you do not support her Patreon, please do that and support her Patreon. If you are a Patreon, you get access to the Inner Beauty Defense Team. I just did a live with Shantina last night in that group, and we had a good time. We chopped up some game. Come in there. You get more of me on like this in that group when I'm on Nicole's broadcast or any broadcast. Besides this one, of course, I'm a lot more reserved, but in there, I can just let loose and say whatever the hell I want. So it's fun in there. Everybody's pretty active. Y'all come on in and join, but you gotta be a Patreon, or you gotta buy her courses or her book. Well, yeah, if you're a woman, you have to buy her course and her book to get in that group. And if you are a man, you need to donate to her Patreon. So please do that. And that is all I have as far as that is concerned.
All right. If nobody has anything else to say, I'm going to go ahead and close it off. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and you have a nice day.
Okay, bye.
Y'all be blessed.